Are you emailing or DMing coaches, but they aren't responding to you? You've crafted the perfect message, sent your highlight tape, and crickets. Well, in this video, I'm gonna reveal what you need to do differently than everybody else to finally get the attention of college football coaches so they actually respond back to you, reach out to you to schedule a phone call, and invite you for official visits. And not only did I do this to earn a D1 football scholarship in the SEC at Ole Miss at just 5'7" and 150 pounds, but the athletes I mentor were 83% earn college football scholarships and 42% go Division I. So if college coaches aren't responding back to you, the first thing that you need to do is look at the divisions that you're currently targeting and make sure that they actually fit your current level of play. Just because someone says that you're a Division I player, first of all, we need to make sure that that's valid. And second of all, there's three types of Division I players. There's FCS, there's Group of Five, and there's Power Four. There's a huge difference between all of these, so if you're targeting the wrong divisions, the coaches are more than likely not gonna respond back to you. Also, one thing to keep in mind is that these bigger, higher tier programs and divisions have groups of guys that they're already targeting. For example, the SEC, all of those schools are all targeting the same 500 guys. Whereas you're trying to contact and get in touch with the coaches, those coaches are trying to sell and get in contact with those players. It's a way different recruiting strategy. Now, you could definitely break into that and it's gonna take a lot of work, but I just want you to keep that in mind. Now, I created an entire video on how to do a professional evaluation for yourself that I'll link in the description below, or if you want a professional evaluation from us, I'll put that below as well. Step 2, if you're reaching out to schools and they're still not responding, but it's the right divisions, then it's more than likely you're not using an omnipresent outreach approach, which means that you're gonna reach out to every coach at each one of these schools in the right divisions, and you're gonna reach out to them in 4 different ways, meaning you're gonna call them, you're gonna email them, you're gonna DM them, and when you call them and they don't answer, you're going to leave a voicemail. You're gonna reach out to them multiple different ways. Just sending a DM on X or just sending an email isn't enough. You wanna reach out to them on every platform you possibly can. One of the things we teach, which I highly recommend, is also using LinkedIn. These coaches search for jobs on LinkedIn. That's how a lot of coaches are found. And so they're actively on there and no athletes are using it. So more than likely, they're gonna see and read your message. The purpose of this initial outreach is to find out who's responsible at that particular school for recruiting your area. Now, the most important thing that you can do here is customizing your message. The more you customize it, the better of a response rate you're gonna have. If you blast out email templates, more than likely your response level is gonna be extremely low, and more than likely you're just gonna annoy coaches, they're gonna delete it and not respond. Or do the one thing you want them to do, which is actually watch your highlight video. Then once you determine who's responsible for recruiting your area at that particular school, then you can send them a really nice customized email or message specific about their school and how you can help them with a link to your highlight video. Not a whole barrage, not a whole pitch of all these other things and all these accolades and how amazing you are. You don't need to do that. And more than likely, they're gonna just look at this as a recruiting email and they're gonna push it off. Instead, you wanna write something specific about them, specific about how you can help them, as well as just a link to your video and saying, you gotta watch this here. It's much more easy for them to say, you know what, let me take a second to watch this, because they know you took the time to write it, to send that to them. Because you took the time to find out they're responsible for recruiting your area, then you took the time to learn more about them and how you can help them, so more than likely they're gonna watch your video. Step 3, just because you found the area coach and you sent a customized message does not mean that they're gonna respond on the first attempt. So you have to consistently follow up. That means every single week, you've got to follow up from the previous message and from the previous email. Most players are scared to follow up because they feel like they're being annoying. And yes, you could be annoying if you're doing it every day, multiple times a day, following up with this coach. You want to give them some time, give them a week, then reach back out and follow up. The reason most players don't follow up is either they don't want to annoy them, which you're not, as long as you don't do it every single day, or because they don't keep track of it. They're not using a coach relationship management tool or something to keep track of, here's the coaches I've reached out to, here's who I need to follow up with, and when I need to follow up with them. So I highly suggest using a tool like this so that you can keep track of who you're reaching out to, and it's not a hobby of doing outreach, but you're actually executing a system. And if you're interested in learning about ours, I'll leave a link in the description below. The bottom line here is most high school football players are so focused on the product and what they're doing on the field and totally blowing off marketing and outreach, which is most important when it comes to college football recruiting. Yes, you need to be able to play, but if you're not marketing yourself and you're not doing outreach, the odds of you getting the most and best opportunities possible are very slim to none. So really taking pride in your outreach, customizing, and then keeping track of all your messages and emails and following up every single week for 4 to 5 weeks will yield you a much, much better response rate. Now, step number 4, you may be reaching out on all these different platforms, you may be following up, but you're still not getting responses. And this could be because you're not building a brand. Coaches don't know who you are, especially if you have limited film. So it's so important in step number 4 that you build your brand. The first place that coaches go to after they've watched your highlight video is your X account. Now, they will look at other social medias just to see who you are, but the first place that they're gonna go is your X account. So if you're not posting consistently and you're just reposting things, or you don't have your account set up properly, coaches will go to your account quickly, try to see who you are. If they can't, they're already on to the next guy. So an easy way to increase your response rate is to begin building your brand. Now, I've made other videos on what to post, how to post, when to post, and I'll leave a link in the description below. But what I want to hit on here is the consistent posting. Because even if a coach isn't ready to respond right then and there, they may follow you, and once they follow you, they've got to see your posts. The easiest way to do this is to schedule your posts for the entire week. So in our platform, what we have our athletes do is go in, schedule all their posts for the week, and it takes only about an hour instead of every day trying to think of what you're going to post and what's going to be the caption, and then people have analysis by paralysis and they don't post. So instead, we set an hour aside, we schedule all the posts out for the entire week, and then boom, coaches come in, they could see who you are, and you begin building your brand. At the end of the day, the athletes get the best results, treat themselves like a business, and social media is a big part of a business and building a brand. And if you're not taking this seriously and you're just reposting things that other people put, then you're going to miss out on a lot of opportunities. And step number 5, if you're doing all of these things and you're still not getting responses, it's more than likely you're just not doing enough volume. Many athletes that I reach out to, they're like, I'm not getting any responses. And I'm like, I know, it's frustrating. How many have you sent? And they're like, I've sent 20 or 30. And I'm thinking to myself, man, that is not even close to where the volume should be. It really should be at 50 to 100, and sometimes even, depending on the tools that you're using, a week. Now, there are some tools that you can use to be able to send more, but most importantly, I'll always go back to making sure you're customizing the message. And this is what we teach our athletes even when they're using some automation tools. So you can't just send 30 to 50 emails and say that outreach doesn't work, because the athletes that are using outreach and getting a lot of results with it are sending 50 to 100 and sometimes even 200 a week. At the end of the day, I always say it takes unreasonable effort to get unreasonable results. And a quote that I've always lived by and I share with the athletes that I mentor is, do today what others won't, so tomorrow you can have what others don't. So I would encourage you to really increase your outreach dramatically, 10x, which you actually think that you need to do in order to get the result that you want to get. Now, just as a little bonus, if you're a senior, it's not too late. Yes, the big Power 4 and the G5 programs are all pretty much done by December and February. However, a lot of D2 programs, FCS programs, and NAIA programs are giving scholarships all the way until May. Just because you don't have an offer yet doesn't mean it's too late and you should give up on your dream. I had an athlete that shared with me that they thought it was too late and gave up. And that's just a terrible life lesson. If you're an athlete, if you're a player, it's not too late. It's never too late. But also understand to keep up with the outreach and remain persistent. There are still opportunities out there waiting for you. Now, I created a step-by-step checklist to go along with this video that you can print out and use it as a guide to make sure you're doing exactly what you need to be doing during this entire recruiting process. And I'll leave a link in the description below where you can download it for free. And if you got value from this video and you want to watch more videos just like it, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification. And if you'd like to watch a previous video I made on exactly what you need to do to evaluate yourself to make sure you're targeting the right divisions, then you're going to want to watch this video right here.